We all know someone who's a Bitcoin maxi and they think every other crypto is absolute garbage. And yes, there's plenty of people who have invested only in Bitcoin and gotten super rich. But to say that all other cryptocurrencies are trash other than Bitcoin is just ludicrous. That would mean that you've not even done enough homework to realize how important base layers with smart contracts are, such as Ethereum, Cardano, and I can obviously name several more, and you can too. There's a saying for that: can't see the forest for the trees. To be unable to understand a situation clearly because you are too involved in it. This is something that we see all the time in crypto. Even just think about the market in general. Prices going up, everybody's happy, everything's good. Bitcoin retraces and you start to see some alts start to do the same. Everyone's panicked and all of a sudden the bull run is over and they're not zooming out, looking at the chart overall and a higher time frame. They're being short-sighted because they're laser focused on one thing, not the broader part of the market. Well, this happens in a lot of different facets of crypto. Let me explain a little bit better, because you don't want to be the sucker who years down the road realizes you had an amazing opportunity, but you let it go because you had your eye on the wrong prize. Certainly in the crypto space, you do not want this to happen, because with it being such a new space, opportunity is likely higher than ever. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is strictly for entertainment value, and I'm just giving you my opinions and something for you to think about. This is an Omi tree, which grows one place in the entire world, on Akomi Island. Many people are so focused on the Omi tree that they can't see the VV forest right behind it. Stick with me on this. Akomi is a Singapore-based technology company in the digital collectible space. They created VV, a blockchain-based digital collectible marketplace. The Omi token is a utility token used on the VV platform when users buy, sell, or trade their collectibles. So it's a medium of exchange. VV is the app, Omi is the token, and they are both owned by Akomi. Something else extremely important to remember is that you don't have to have Omi tokens to purchase collectibles on the VV app. You can use gems, which are basically a one-to-one to the dollar. So you can use your own dollars, which convert to gems through the app, to also purchase the VV collectibles. Even if you know nothing about cryptocurrency, you can download the VV app and start to purchase collectibles right away, or whenever the next drop is, provided all of them are currently sold out. So for example, I have $100, which I convert to 100 gems, and then boom, I'm ready to purchase whatever NFT drop that I so choose. What's great about Akomi is they really did spend some time laying the groundwork, and they have licensing deals with some of the most iconic brands ever. NFTs such as Ghostbusters and Back to the Future have already dropped, and of course, some of the most famous superheroes ever, like Batman, Superman, and I'm pretty certain that Spider-Man is about to drop soon as well. And keep in mind that these are only a few. Whenever there's a drop, there are different tiers that you can get. So for example, you may have common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare. If a Batman NFT drop happens, we're not just talking about one NFT, we're talking about pretty much 4 of them that you have a chance to get. And the number does vary, which that correlates with how rare the NFT is. Something as simple as a Google search is going to show you how recognizable the brands are. And if you haven't seen it, I would suggest that you definitely take a look at it. You're going to recognize these brands. You may not recognize all of them, but it's pretty hard at this point not to recognize some of these major brands that Akomi has associated itself with and went out and got these licensing deals on. Anyone who has participated in one of the NFT drops on the VV platform definitely has seen the growth and how big of a deal it is. There's a lot of excitement around these. There's a lot of excitement around it on social media. And when you see how quick these NFTs go and are sold out, it's pretty unbelievable. Now, that doesn't mean that the app has went off without a hitch. There have definitely been issues. And there's been people pretty upset that they've not been able to get NFTs. And even to the point where Some people suggest it's kind of uneven on the distribution and the methods, but we do have to take into account at least the growth of the VeVe app. And what I have recognized is VeVe has continually added features to the platform to try to help navigate as the growth has been so explosive. The growth of the VeVe app is undeniable. February of 2020 through March of 2021, the app went from 0 daily active users to 60,000 daily active users. Those figures are according to Apptopia. I could go on and on about the VeVe app, but if you're not currently trying to get your hands on any of these NFTs or any of the drops, it seriously is time to wake up. Now that I've explained a little bit about the VeVe app, let's turn our focus to the OMI token. Currently at the time of this recording, the OMI token price-wise is at 0.00274 cent and the market cap is 455 million. The total supply is 750 billion OMI. Look, any way you slice it, 750 billion tokens is a ton of tokens. You will continually hear about the token burns which take place at the time of the NFT drops. So every time there's an NFT drop, they do burn tokens. So I do see a lot of excitement around the token burn. I personally have mixed feelings about token burns. Sometimes token burns are used for gimmicks, nothing more. I'm not saying that's the case with OMI, but I do think you should always look into that. I think a lot of times as crypto projects start up, they have this number that they put out there of the total supply, often not thinking about what should the total supply actually be. And if that is initially set correctly, is there really a need for a token burn? And I do hold OMI, so at this point, obviously, it's not a big enough issue for me where I think it's not worth holding the OMI token. I just think you should really take a deep dive and find out, is the burn enough to really justify buying whatever crypto it is you're looking at, if that is one of the parts of the tokenomics. There is some information out there and other videos on YouTube that do explain about the actual token burn and approximately how many tokens are burned at each drop. Of course, that number does fluctuate. They can give you a pretty good idea of what the amount that is burned per a drop is and how that relates to that 750 billion tokens that make up the total supply. My overall opinion on the OMI token is it's a great project. I do hold it and I will continue keeping an eye on it. And I think it's going to do major things during the remainder of this bull run. But allow me to put this into perspective for you in a way that I think is pretty easy to understand. Back in the day, someone got this Chicago Bulls hat signed by Michael Jordan himself. That hat went at auction for $362. The original cost of the hat was likely $10 to $15 at most. Then we have this Metal Universe Michael Jordan card that sold for $350,000 in February of 2019. The original cost of the pack of cards retailed at $2.49. There were 24 cards in a pack. Now this card is very rare, and if I'm correct, this is one of 10 green ones, and there were 90 red ones. So not very many were sold to begin with. That doesn't change the fact that there's many more Michael Jordan cards and cards of other players, as well as just other collectibles of that nature in general that were purchased for basically a few bucks that went on to sell for tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The point is, if you're so focused on the OMI token that you're not taking advantage of purchasing these first edition digital collectibles, which by the way also is really at the beginning of a change in the way that we're collecting things to begin with, meaning we now have entered the cryptocurrency space and NFTs. So really this is a point in history where we're seeing a massive change. If you're not taking advantage of that and looking long term, you're doing yourself a major disservice. As I stated earlier, it's perfectly fine to hold both. But my opinion right now is it's not okay to simply just hold the OMI token and not take advantage of the VeVe app. And that's simply because if you look at what history suggests with other collectibles, these things could be massive down the road. So you do not want to miss out on that opportunity. I fully understand that people are territorial over their tokens. Someone will obviously try to say that this is FUD on the OMI token when I've obviously told you that I hold it. But I'm just merely pointing out the fact that don't sleep on the VeVe app and the opportunity that is laid out before you. At minimum, I think it's a good thing to hold both. But as I said, I'm not a financial advisor. You need to decide what's good for you. So what is going to give the highest return? Is it the collectibles that you purchase from the VeVe app, or is it the OMI token? Tell me in the comments. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, and also if you have anything else to add to what I have went over today. Thanks for watching the content. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.